What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I finish up my 10,000 steps. Yeah, I know it's dark now. I haven't been walking the whole time. I've been chilling. But I'm going to finish up. It's getting dark. Plus, it's getting a little cool out, so I want to get home. I'm going to finish this up now. Walk my black self home. But speaking of being black, we got to talk about Janet Jackson, man. So apparently she said that, she said in an interview, I guess it was Saturday, she was asked about Kamala Harris, because whenever they sit a celebrity down of color, they feel like they have to thrust Kamala Harris into their face. They have to create some reason to bring up politics. And Janet Jackson being a black woman, of course, that was definitely going to come up. So she was asked about Kamala Harris possibly being the first black female president, and Janet Jackson said that something to the effect of she heard she wasn't black, or something of the like, and that she heard that she was Indian. And the interviewer replied back that she's both. And I guess Janet Jackson said that she heard her father was white. I suppose that's misinformation, but that was her answer on it. So because she said this, she's now being attacked because she didn't follow the script and say what everyone on the left thinks that she should say. It's crazy how if you are black, you are expected to vote a certain way. And if you don't, it's like, how dare you? You are not allowed to be a free thinker. If you are black, you better be voting left. You better be voting blue. You better be voting Democrat. You better be liberal if you are black. And I find this to be greatly offensive, because how is it that everyone can vote how they want to, but black folks are always expected to fall in line and vote Democrat? And let me move forward and get out of this darkness so y'all can see me, because I want y'all to be able to see me, of course. But yeah, if you're black, it's like you're just assumed to vote Democrat. Like, they don't even think they have to earn our votes anymore. They don't. They think that they can just show up once every 4 years and just collect our votes. So in the case of Kamala Harris, now I have nothing against this woman personally. However, there are things about her that I find as a black man to be offensive. Like how when she was the DA in California, she locked up more black men than any other in history. And how there was evidence to exonerate people who she had locked up, and she made efforts to block this stuff from coming out. She had to basically be forced to. And why? Just to protect her record. So that sort of person that would do that, and now they want to play the black card. I'm not okay with that. I find that to be very offensive. I find it absurd that you would expect me as a black man to fall in line and vote for someone who was locking up black men, knowing full well that they were not guilty, knowing full well, blocking evidence during a trial to come out that would have proved they were innocent, and continuing to do so after they were locked up to keep them there. She was doing that to black men. So why in the world should I get behind someone that would do that to black men and vote for her as a black man? It just makes no sense to me. Also, she never would mention her sorority until now, suddenly. She, before, never would really claim being black in any way, shape, or form. She would sure embrace being Indian though, like full on dot on the forehead Indian. She had no problem ever showing that, but she never really showed anything about being black. And now that you need black votes, now you want to come out, basically talking about you use hot sauce and you wash your greens in the bathtub and all this sort of stuff. I mean, just silliness. This is the very same woman that at her rally had Megan Thee Stallion twerking. Now, I'm not mad at Megan Thee Stallion for collecting that check. All right, I'm not mad at her for collecting that check. She's an entertainer. Somebody offering her a check to perform. She took it. So I'm not upset about that. But why in the world would Kamala Harris think that that's what we want to see? I mean, she and her peoples chose the live entertainment, and she picked somebody to come out and twerk. Why would she believe that that's what we want to see? But I'm supposed to vote for her, right? So spit in my face, and I'm supposed to love you for it. Also, behind Janet Jackson not falling in line, I find it disgusting how she is being attacked. DL Hughley said some disparaging things about her. I'm not really gonna repeat what he said. I don't really mess with that guy anyway. I think he is just, I'm not gonna say anything really bad about him. I'm gonna just say that I think he's a lame guy. He's just not my type of guy. I would never mess with a dude like that. You got the Breakfast Club. They made her donkey of the day. It's just silliness. Think about this. Who has meant more to the black community over the last 40 years? Kamala or Janet Jackson? So behaving this way towards Janet Jackson, especially the last 30 years, okay? The last 30 years is undeniable. Who has meant more to the black community over the last 30 years? We talking about since the early 90s to now. Kamala Harris or Janet Jackson? So for these other black figureheads to be dragging her over the defense of Kamala Harris is just insane to me, man. Charlemagne the God, that's a dude that I would never mess with either, man. And he wasn't always this way. But the way he be moving right now, dude is just foul. And as I said, dude, really? You simping for Kamala Harris that hard that you coming out, making Janet Jackson donkey of the day, man? Come on now. That's not even cool. And so a publicist of Janet's released a statement apologizing for her saying that she's not black. Now, mind you, she wasn't just like, oh, she ain't black. She said she heard she wasn't black. She heard she was Indian, So it's not like she was trying to throw shade. But they acting like that was the intent, was to throw shade, and it wasn't. She said she heard she wasn't black. She heard she was Indian. And that's understandable considering Kamala herself has never really outright said I'm black or even showed any sort of indicators that she even embraces being black in any way, shape, or form until now, where she wants to show us bottles of hot sauce. So, do with that information what you may. Her publicist released some sort of statement, apologizing on her behalf. Miss Jackson, being the woman that she is, no one's going to speak for her. You're not going to release no statement on her behalf. Anything being released on her behalf, she going to sign off on. So she came out and put that statement on blast, basically saying that didn't come from her. She didn't say anything of the sort, and has now let that publicist go. So they're now out of a job because they took it upon themselves to release some statement on her behalf that she didn't want. I get it, as a publicist, your job is to protect the image of the client, but bro, you can't just be throwing some stuff out there and you ain't even gonna run it past me first. You don't ever, you could come up with the words, But ultimately, I want to see what those words are before I approve them to go live. You don't come up with nothing on my behalf and just throw it out there and don't tell me anything about it. So kudos to her for standing 10 toes down, not allowing people to bully her into saying something that she doesn't mean. And The View, I mean, I don't know. The View, I know they discussed her on there, but I really don't like listening to them. It's like, whenever I hear them women on The View, they make me want to rip my ears off. So I just really didn't want to hear whatever copium they was trying to spin about Janet Jackson. I would hope that that's all it was copium, and they weren't taking the same approach as somebody like D.L. Hughley, who, like, you know, wants to drag her and all that. This is just crazy to me. But this just goes to show you how this works with the whole hive mind mentality and not being allowed to be a free thinker. Here it is, a prominent musical icon. All right, this is the little sister of Michael Jackson. She's had an iconic of her own. And the hive mind is coming for her all because she said something that they didn't like. And it's not like it was out of maliciousness. She just happened to say something that they didn't agree with. And it's all this controversy behind it. But it's as I said. See, I didn't always know this, man. I think that's the thing that's the most shocking behind it. I didn't always know this. I kind of figured this out within the last 5 years, that as being a black man, they really do think that I'm just supposed to vote for them no matter what. They don't feel like they have to earn my vote. They come out, you know, I mean, think about it. In the last month, how many times has Kamala been here? You know, she knows that here in Michigan, we really don't mess with her and Biden like that. We did before, but categorically, we don't mess with them like that anymore because of all that nonsense that Biden did with the electric car push and all that. We're in Michigan, man. That affected us like no other. So even though he tried to like scale it back some, the damage was done. And I remember when Biden was here, this is before they kind of threw Biden out. When Biden was here and he was talking before the unions, and they were very respectful, but many of them were expressing to him that they would not be voting for him again. And they told him exactly why, about the stuff that he did in terms of decisions that he was making with the cars and whatnot, the way that it affected our way of life here. They would not be voting for him again. So they appreciate him coming to see him, but it was basically a lost cause. There was nothing that he could say or do that would win us back over. So they show up. They want to say things like, "Oh, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black." That's what Biden did. And during 4 years, what exactly did Biden do for black people to where he felt so arrogant in making such a statement? Nothing. And then when it's time to get out and pound the pavement to get votes again, now all of a sudden the black community matters to him anymore. Again, we didn't matter before, and now suddenly we matter again. And I had to realize that's what the reoccurring theme was, is that we as black folks really have not mattered to the Democratic Party. We only matter when it's time to vote. They don't do anything for us the rest of the time. They show up, say beautiful things to convince us to vote for them. We give them the votes foolishly, and then they disappear. Now, I'm not saying if in the future, if the left is actually trying to put together some plan or whatever to do something for black folks, that black folks shouldn't vote for them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying right now, I don't see that. And I'm also seeing, it's like seeing Matrix code to a certain extent. Because I remember back when Ice Cube, this was like 4 years ago. It was about this time 4 years ago. Ice Cube was talking about what would these presidents do for black America. The Biden administration did not reach out to Ice Cube. The Trump administration did. And he was willing to meet with them because they actually reached out to him. And I remember how much foolery he was getting at the hands of black folks when the very thing that he was doing was championing for black folks. But because he was daring to talk to the guy that was representing the right, just sitting down, being willing to hear what he had to say, what he was pitching, he was like treated like a damn pariah. It was ridiculous. So it's just crazy. I saw that and I thought it was weird, but it really didn't hit me. It really didn't hit me then. But I started to see more instances similar to that happen over the last 4 years. And this here with Janet Jackson is just the latest and the greatest. It really is that way. If you don't fall in line, if you dare even talk about voting a different way or doing something different from how they think you should, they are truly ready to act like you are the worst thing. You're a sellout and all this sort of stuff. How are you selling out? By trying to get the best deal for yourself and other people that look like you. How are you selling out? How do you spin that as a negative? You know, just ridiculous. But I'm going to go ahead and leave that here. I don't talk about politics a whole lot on this channel, and I probably will always be that way. Won't talk about politics a whole lot. But this was one that I just kind of had to air out a little bit, man, because it was just ridiculous. Like, y'all really coming for Janet Jackson, of all people. Janet Jackson. Wow. Appreciate y'all connecting with me. Subscribe if you haven't. Thumbs up this video. Leave me them comments. You know, it's going to be some people that's going to agree with me in the comments. There's going to be some people who don't. I welcome you both the same because, you know, I don't want people that's just going to agree with me. I don't believe in the whole hive mind concept. I can't stand that. So even if you don't agree with me, you're welcome to comment, man. Later.